Hey there, everybody. In this episode, we are going to do some trigonometry. Well, really, we're going to let the spreadsheet do some trick for us. So we shot off some rockets, and we stood a certain distance away. And in this case, we stood 100 feet away. And we need to find what the height is. We're going to use these. We used these to find the angle followed up, and then it tells us the angle right there of our triangle. Now, we're going to use the opposite adjacent formula. So we have our angle, our tangent angle, with our height over our distance away from the launcher. Now, one of the reasons we had two people on opposite ends is so that if the rocket goes towards one person or another, we'll be able to find the average. If it comes towards you, you're going to have a way steeper angle than this person. So if we come over here, after you looked at my amazing drawing, you come over here, we've got a couple things that you do not have to put in yourself. So we've got the number of fins for the rockets that each group or person put in, and then we on launch day figured out the angles. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the first height, the second height, and then the average height. So here's how we do that. We're going to make this formula equal our distance, which was 100 feet away, times tangent, so I'm going to write TAN, and we need to change this to radians. I'm going to type RAD because we're rad, and then click on radians. Then click on this number right here for 44 degrees, close parentheses. You can see that I haven't hit enter yet, but it's giving us a number right there. So actually, it gives me a number there, and right now it doesn't give me a number until you actually, let me put C2 in there again. So it told us a number. All right. So the next thing I want to do similar formula here. So I'm going to go equals 100 times tangent in radians of this number right here, close parentheses, hit enter, and we can see that at 44 degrees, we're at 96.57 feet, and at 50 degrees, which is slightly higher, we've got 119 feet. So, you've got a little bit of a steeper angle here. So let's find the average of that by simply hitting equals average, and then I can click on this. I can click on this number, and then hold Control down on your keyboard and click on that number. So we want F2 and D2, and then I'm going to hit enter there. And so there is our average. Now we need to do it for Mick, Keith, Ronnie, Brian, Charlie, and Bill. So I could do the same thing, and I could type in the formula for each of them, or I could just click on the top one, grab this smart corner, the blue box right there on the corner, drag it down, and it does it all for me. Same thing in this column, drag it down. You can double click to make sure that it's giving you the same formula, and then you can double click on this one, or I'm sorry, single click on this one, drag down. If your distance is ever different, if for some reason we're at 200 feet away, you can then change that number. Instead of 100, make it 200, and that will change some of your calculations, of course, because we're doing some algebra trigonometry here. All right, now let's make this graph a little bit prettier, a little bit more in order. So I'm going to highlight A through G, and I'm going to add a filter, and we are going to change this filter by hitting this down arrow and go Z to A, so that the highest to the lowest. So Keith is the highest, followed by Mick, and we're going down from there. Okay, let's add some graphs. So let's hit this G and change our graph. We want to do an insert chart. So we can see that our heights here, we can just kind of move that down underneath everybody's name, and we can see the highest to the lowest. We also want to make a histogram, so I'm going to highlight column G again, And I'm going to hit chart, and I'm going to change this. Scroll on down until you get to a histogram. And we want to customize that histogram and show the different the different launches. Each box represents a rocket, and you can size it up and kind of line it up there. So we had one rocket that was highly above or farther above all of the rest. We had a group that were 3 of them were between 0 and 60, which is shown right there. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to make this colorful. So we want to highlight this column G, go to Format, Conditional Format, do a color scale, and say, all right, I want the maximum to be green. I want the minimum numbers to be red, and let's change the percentile to 50 percentile right here to yellow and hit done. All right. The cool thing about that is if we have someone else who launches here, and then I'm just going to make up a number and plug it in here and say 300. Like all of a sudden, it changes the colors, it adds it to here, and it adjusts there too. So let me delete that so that everything goes back to normal. Okay. The last thing you're going to want to do is answer some questions. What affected the height of the rocket? Why did some rockets go higher than others? And if you had another chance to build a different rocket or another rocket, what would you do? So can't wait to see these. And have a if you have any questions, let me know. Also, bonus, who is Keith, Mick, Ronnie, Brian, Bill, and Charlie? See you later.